Call the Board of Public Works to order. October 3rd, 2017. Notice has been duly posted. Roll call.
Alderman Mayor Chilson.
Here.
Ron Jertson.
Here.
Harvey Bertrand.
Here.
Fred Bueller.
Here.
Jared Holter is also in attendance.
Thank you. I think I need my... Okay, thank you. I didn't want to chase anybody out of here. Okay, we have, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Harvey Bertrand, seconded by Ron Jertson to approve the minutes. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Public input. This time the commission will take, or the board will take, public input. Please step to the podium, state your name and address, and you are limited to 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Jay Enke. I'm at 505 Cooley Court in Green Cooley. We moved here in the mid-90s. Back in the mid-90s, there weren't too many homes in Green Cooley. Since then, you're all aware of the explosion of the building and the increased tax base, etc. As you're aware, there's only one way in and out of Green Cooley. It's been an issue in a more severe way probably in the last decade or so as the density of the folks living in the Cooley has increased. You know, there is a fair amount of traffic in and out of Ultra Credit Union and Quick Trip, as well as to some degree the Cooley Golf Bowl. And most of the folks that leave those businesses don't realize they have the last right-of-way since they're not on the road yet, but yet oftentimes that's not how they drive. We have a lot of younger drivers due to the age of a lot of the folks that live in Green Cooley. A lot of them are on the more timid and cautious side, and although that is a good thing, it also adds to the congestion. I know that I go to work very early, but whenever I want to turn left in any sort of traffic congestion, I always go right, and I go through the first set of lights. I go to the second set of lights, and I do a U-turn, simply because I found myself driving a little bit too risky to try to get through some of these intersections. So, you know, I really think we need to do the planning study to take a look at a good solution before we have some significant negative happenings at that intersection. So thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Jerry?
Good afternoon. Jerry Jorgensen, 2220 Evenson Drive. Also here to speak about the proposed budget item for the study on our intersection. You know, you really haven't experienced life in Onalaska until you pull up to when you're leaving our valley at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and your intent is to go to get a loaf of bread at Quick Trip. You pull up to the intersection. There's 6 or 8 cars stacked up to take a left-hand turn coming into the valley. 2 cars looking you straight in the eye coming out of Quick Trip. Neither one of them have their signal on, so you're not sure what they're doing. You don't have your signal on because you intend to go forward. And as you make your move out into the intersection, and just to add another little bit of complexity to it, nobody drives 25 miles an hour on East Main Street. Nobody. And if you think I'm wrong about that, just go out there in your car someday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and go 25 miles an hour and see if anyone is behind you or whether or not everyone passes you. This intersection has been getting worse and worse, as Jay said, as the valley has been built up, and it's getting very dangerous. Top off the scenario that I portrayed for you there, and then you add 2 kids coming from your right on bicycles, and somebody comes up and pushes the pedestrian button, and the lights go on, and everything stacks up from both directions. And you know you're going to be there for at least 5 or 6 minutes. Unless you do what Jace does, back up, take a right hand, go up under the overpass and do a U-turn. That's been what we've been told from people, that that's the viable way to get in and out of the valley when things are busy. And so I understand that we have a possible budget item to do a study on this thing. Seems to me there's been studies done on this in the past. I'm not sure what happened to those. But anyways, I'm here to talk in support of this, that intersection. I just encourage you to come out there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and watch it. That's all you need to do. You'll know what we're talking about. It's very dangerous, and it's getting worse and worse as more people live in our valley. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Greg Enda. I also live in Green Coulee on Birdie Court. My family was there for 17 years. About 6 or 7 years ago, I attended a meeting sponsored by DOT. It was held across the street at the elementary school. And the item of discussion was the condition of the intersection that we're talking about tonight. The DOT at that time seemed largely, my perception was, unconcerned about the level of traffic going through that intersection. Nonetheless, their thought on dealing with the situation was to widen the street, repave it, and put a median in the middle of Main Street. And they proceeded to do that over the last couple of years, as you know. All welcomed improvements, all add value and some degree of safety. But since the traffic has continued to increase, the volume and the speed of the traffic through that intersection, and those improvements, I think, are proven to be woefully inadequate to really address the problem. We have a safety problem out there. As you've heard from the prior two gentlemen ahead of me, to get to that intersection during busy times, you pretty much need to have your head on a swivel. You got traffic coming from the right, whose intentions are unknown, headed south coming out of the valley. Now, as my perspective here, oftentimes they'll dodge into the turn lane without their directionals on. By that time, it's too late to exercise a left-hand turn. Traffic coming from the east is coming around a curve. Because of the curve, it's difficult to judge the nature or the speed of those cars coming around the curve, and oftentimes, as they make the curve, they're switching lanes to cut the corner on the curve. So you end up with a real problem. The thought the DOT had was to provide for what they called a staged crossing, so the cars would get halfway across the street to the median, and then when that traffic lane cleared, proceed to clear the entire intersection. All that's done is create another point of conflict with cars coming from the turn lane. You can't do it. It's not a practical solution. So, in my view, I'd like to submit to you that intersection is dangerous. It's substandard for the level of traffic that goes through there today. And I would like to lend my support and ask you for your support to fund the traffic study that's very much needed for the coming year to see what solutions might be possible to deal with that intersection. Thank you.
Anyone else that wishes to address the board? Second call, anyone wishing to address the board? Third and final call, anyone wishing to address the board? Okay, thank you for that input. We will take that into consideration. Consideration possible action on the following items. Item 4, to review and consideration of snowmobile trail within the city of Onalaska for 2017-2018 winter season, including crossing state trunk Highway 35 at Oak Forest Drive. Jared?
Thank you, Your Honor. In your packet tonight, you can see the proposed trail location. This is the trail location that we've had for a number of years now, where it crosses Highway 35 at the Oak Forest Drive intersection from the Dairy Queen over to the Quick Trip, and then proceeding back onto the trail, La Crosse River Trail. We did contact the state DOT traffic engineer and include his email in the packet, and he has not seen any problems with the trail. I did discuss it with the police chief, who's also here tonight, if they've had any anything happen with the trail in the last year or two, and he stated he has not. So this is the yearly approval of allowing the trail through the city as we have in the past. Currently, the trail, as it has been approved, has had the curfew installed on it from 10:30 p.m. till 7 a.m. daily when the trail is, for each day the trail is open. So I guess with that, we do have representatives of the local snowmobile club in attendance if you've got specific questions, but this is for the yearly approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is to approve. Second. Any questions? Any questions of the police chief? I don't believe that we've had any problems over the past year. I certainly believe that this is something that we should continue to foster as as something we want to happen in the city of Onalaska. So, Chief, do you have any? Okay, thank you. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 5, review and consideration of parking restrictions along Critter Court. Jared.
In your packet tonight, I've included a variety of minutes from previous meetings. When Critter Court was installed, early 2000s, shortly thereafter then, Gunderson Lutheran started updating their campus at the South Caney area. Once the building was constructed along Gunderson Drive that houses their support staff, started seeing a lot of parking along Critter Court. So in 2004, 2006, the city went through and enacted no parking restrictions along all of Critter Court. That was like that for a number of years, and on Critter Court there is the Springbrook assisted living facility. It has been added on to over the years, but they came in, asked for some of the parking, no parking to be removed and parking allowed again. And then they did that a couple of different times, and finally in 2015, the city, we went through a process and enacted what you see in your packet tonight of the no parking, 2-hour parking in the tollway zone around the Springbrook facility to allow them some on-street parking. Due to their parking, what they have on site, with the facilities they have and the use they are having problems finding enough parking spots for all the users of their facility. With that, we've been going forward, and I'll probably turn it over to the police chief now, but the police chief has been having staff members get calls for service for the 2-hour parking that's in this area. What has been happening is the support staff working at the support center for Gunderson Clinic have been parking in the 2-hour zone. So then we get calls that there's people parking longer than the 2 hours. So the police chief is getting a lot of calls for service in the area, and we just wanted to bring it up for discussion tonight. I'll turn it over to Chief Trotnick with that.
Well, as Jared said, it has become a public. I'm sorry.
Would you please identify yourself for the transcript?
Oh, Jeff Trotnick, Chief of Police, Onalaska Police Department. We have been getting a lot of calls for service out in that area. This is something that we talked about when we did it. We just didn't know what to expect on it. We looked at the call volumes from 2016, 2017. We're roughly 23 calls for service out there in 2016 and 39 calls for service out there in 2017. That doesn't sound like a whole lot when you look at just the numbers, but that doesn't really take into account the proactive patrolling that we're having to do out there to kind of address the issues, to really minimize the numbers of calls for service that are coming in there, making it look like we're not just ignoring the issues out there. But it's a very difficult issue for us to deal with. 2-hour parking, you got to go out there and you got to somehow mark the tires, and then you got to leave, and then you got to come back and police it. And we're doing that sometimes on a routine basis, based on the number of times we get calls out there. So it's just becoming a drain at times, and there just has to be a better way to do it.
Anybody have any questions?
Which is,
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
You have
Yeah, I
questions
do.
of the chief?
So, yeah, what is a good solution? Or let's say the best we can come up with?
Well, one of the issues that I think this whole area, what we're trying to achieve out there was to try to provide more parking for the assisted living area. That's not happening. We know that. That's basically the complaint comes in that the workers from Gunderson get there before everybody else does. They tie it up. Sometimes we have to go out there and we issue the tickets. Sometimes we know that they move the vehicles around. People have witnessed that. We know that a lot of the vehicles are in the same area, but they're just moved. So technically they're not in violation. So the initial intent for it isn't working. Now, the argument can be made that area shouldn't be parking just for them either, and it's not, but it's just serving one purpose out there. Going back to no parking and making it work for those that park out in that area and try to figure out what some of their other parking problems are. Most of those are, well, not most, all of them are businesses. I know what I'm getting ready to say is easier said than done, but providing enough parking for the services that they need out there for their areas. I mean, that's a solution. There's other solutions that we could look at. I don't know how far we want to get into it. We talked about a 2-hour parking period in an area. So if you want to leave it parking, and this is an enforcement thing that we would have to do as well, but you're only allowing 2 hours of parking within a 24-hour period of time within a stretch of roadway. Again, that doesn't really solve calls for service initially, but I think overall it would, because I think the Gunderson people can't play the same game of moving the vehicles around. But then it comes down to how often do you cite, do you tow, all those things to really put teeth to it.
And so I kind of, if you don't mind reviewing, so there are a combination of Gunderson cars and the businesses along there. So what kind of does it make up?
I don't know the percentages, but if we're not going to put 100% on Gunderson, I would put in the 90% range on Gunderson. But I don't have any true proof of that statement. But that's how the complaints are, and that's really where the vehicles are from.
So that parking lot then is overflowing there adjacent to the Gunderson building is what you're...
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
You talking about the Gunderson parking?
Yeah.
Well, the Gunderson parking is supposed to be done at the ramp, from what I understand. The expectation is that they walk, but we know that's not happening. Now, I know it's a hike, but that's the expectation, I think, of... I've been in contact with Gunderson asking their assistance on this. I don't have any. I've been told there's really nothing they can do for us. And they weren't callous about it. That's just fact.
Okay. You done?
Yeah.
I got a question.
Ron's got a question for Jared. So,
Way back when they put like that assistant living in Gunderson built, we went through the process of making sure that we had enough parking spots for all these places. Now, my question is, if we didn't, how did that happen? Do they have enough? Gunderson is a solvable problem, from the way I see it. Those people out there that are working there need to utilize the facility that we supplied them with. That you can check off the list. We just need to figure out a way of making them do that. As far as like what is it? Humane Society is down there.
Yep.
Assisted living and Gunderson. Now those places should have enough parking by our design.
and yeah, would you like to take this or should I?
No, I'll take it. So at the Gunderson campus, as you can see in the aerial photo, basically the parking is parked up next to the building, except for visitor parking and things. They have the parking ramp, 600 stall parking ramp. They have been instructed they're supposed to walk from there. Like anything, I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I go to a commercial establishment, I drive down to the parking lot until I find the closest spot. Just, it's human nature. So they're looking. So those people do have adequate parking over in the ramp. The other two buildings, the dentist and the multi-tenant buildings and stuff, we haven't really seen a lot of problems there. They have enough off-street parking for what they have. Springbrook is the real area that doesn't have enough parking. But by the code for what they built, they had enough parking for the square footage. But one of the things that they point out is they've got a pool that they let everybody in the community use, a hot, warm bath level pool facility that they have classes come in, and it's a benefit to community, which isn't taken into account. It's not really part of the intricate code calculations for parking. And typically what we find with a lot of the parking that we have in the community, if you go to most businesses, we're overparked. We usually have more than enough parking with our parking code. So, but this is an intricate one where the uses and the people that come to visit the people here, and between that and the pool, it overflows their available parking.
So what really happens here is that, you know, they came to us because they had this pool, and they have buses coming out with the kids from the local high schools and things like that are coming out for recreational therapy, and we gave it our best shot, but it's just, it just happened just exactly the way Jared said it was going to happen. Go ahead.
That assisted living is the one where we're getting the complaints from mostly.
They're the ones that are calling to say that there's no parking available because of the 2-hour violators.
But they are also the ones that created their own problem.
Well, pretty much so.
So, pretty much mute point from where I'm sitting at. Moving on to the next subject.
Harvey?
I guess my one response to that is that that the residents there did not create the problem. I guess what we need, I think we need to be sympathetic or empathetic with the institution there. I mean, they didn't create the problem themselves. So that you may have a point with that doesn't solve the problem.
Well, to that point, and maybe Jared has further clarification for me, I'm not sure this is a resident problem, you know, where the residents don't have parking. It's really outside influences that are presenting the problem. From my understanding, the residents don't really even drive that much or take up much of the parking lots.
And it's not the visitors from that are having I'm very attuned to this problem because the director calls me regularly. And the problem is that these add-on things that they didn't intend happening have now happened, and you know, I just think that we need to go back and just put no parking back down out there. I think that's the answer.
Yeah, just one other question. I see some green space out there. Can they have create additional parking?
That's where their addition sits today. This aerial photo is actually a 2015 photo, actually flown in 2014. So it's not there anymore. That there's a building sitting there now.
No, because they built an addition.
Okay.
They are looking at other possibilities of trying to remedy their own situation, per se.
Go ahead.
I think we should let them fix their own problem. See what they come up with.
I guess ultimately it comes down to the chief has identified a problem that he's having with his staff trying to use his resources to do this. Does the Board of Public Works wish to either have bring people in to talk about it, make the change to 20 or no parking as we had previously, or we could just leave it as is? So I guess we're looking for some direction with what the chief has given. I know the chief would like to move on to other tasks that are probably more important than 2-hour parking along Critter Court.
Ron?
I agree with you on the no parking, and I agree with Joe on that. Let's put it back, and we can get to it.
Okay, I'll make the motion to put the no parking signs back up.
Second.
Discussion? Jared?
Just to clarify, that would mean there would be no parking along all of Critter Court from South Kinney all the way down and around, as it was previously.
As it was previously.
And that would, for clarification too, that would have to go through A&J to get the ordinance changed again, so it wouldn't happen. So,
And I would ask that as we do this, that what's the name? I can't think of the name of the place now. It's left my mind.
It's in the minutes here.
Yeah, that we let them know that this is going to happen.
Tina Antony is the representative that
Tina
we spoke
Antony,
with.
yes, and that she be at least notified that this was going to happen, and that she can come to the next A&J committee to voice her opinion on that.
Call for a vote.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. Item number 6, review and consideration of the purchasing pickup truck V-Box salt spreader. Jared.
In the 2017 capital improvements budget, we did have a purchase of a new single-axle dump truck with plow wing, muni box on it for use on our municipal streets. That purchase came in approximately $8,000 under what we had budgeted with the 2017 capital improvements budget. One of the things we've identified, and I know Dan was here, is the fact that we have nothing that's between the little salter that we have that goes in the back of the Toolcat and or a single axle truck. So we are requesting that we would be able to purchase a V-Box to put in the back of a 3/4 ton pickup truck to do the parking lots, and we're getting more and more off-street trails that we are maintaining to be able to salt those in an efficient way without having to constantly ferry out to be filling the box on the Toolcat. So with that, we got a variety of quotes from Universal Equipment and Michael's Truck. It's staff's recommendation to purchase the salter, the Hinneker salter, for $4,475 using the funds from the 2017 capital improvements budget for the single axle dump truck.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve made by Harvey, seconded by Ron. Discussion? Ron?
That's going to be going in the back of a 3/4 ton pickup truck.
Correct.
Is that going to be a heavy half or a heavy duty 3/4 ton truck?
It's a standard 3/4 ton, but we actually got the one that's just a little bit, not the smallest model, but we didn't get the one that was, because that was the same question I had, because we have a variety of 1-ton trucks. But we have our pre-wet system for anti-icing the streets in one. We use the other ones in the cemetery. Plus, we wanted to have a pickup truck because it was narrow to get down to paths. So we are sufficient that it's going to be able to carry the load of what we're going to put in it.
That's my only concern, that we're going to wind up breaking springs and bending stuff. We're good?
And I have asked staff that specific question, and they assured me it would work.
What's that V-Box made out of?
It is stainless steel,
Okay,
so it's going to last.
Good.
It's going to outlast me.
That's what I want to hear.
We're going to have it for a long time.
I hope you're around a little longer, Jared. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 7, review and consideration of the 2017 final special assessment costs. Jared.
In your packet tonight, we have a variety of final special assessment costs for the miscellaneous concrete project, 2017 utility project, and a 2017 pavement project. It's staff's recommendation to approve these, and I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, move for approval by Jared, seconded by Harvey. Discussion. Are there any questions from anyone? No. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item 8, review and consideration of the 2018 capital improvements budget. Jared.
Okay, last month we distributed the 2018 through 2022 budget, 5-year capital budget projections. Now we're at the point where we have the 2018 in front of us. We should start going through identifying projects that we feel should stay in the proposed budget and ones that will have to be removed due to budgetary constraints. Going to turn it over to Eric here in a minute, but and Fred, because working with Fred, Brad Vigut, the bond counsel, and a variety of other sources, he can discuss what numbers we're projecting to be at. And then also as staff, working with Eric, we've been looking at some other funding options for how we would fund some of these projects. One thing I would point out is that this year's 2018 capital improvement budget does show a little over $10 million needed for borrowings. So we do have a lot of projects, as I stated last month. If you go through the projects and go through them in depth, I think you'll see that all of them are worthy projects that have a need for infrastructure within the city. We are fortunate within the city that I feel that we have, over the last 20 years, tried to maintain our streets and utilities at a high level, and we feel as staff from the utilities at Public Works Department, we would like to continue that. Once again, last month we distributed the phaser rating of the city streets, and you can see that we had been going down. We made a comeback on that a little bit, but we are still have a lot of streets that are in that 2 and 3 category. So I guess that's kind of my overview of the capital improvements budget. I don't know if Eric wants to go or Fred wants to discuss the funding, but maybe Eric.
I'll start.
Okay.
As Jared had pointed out, the requests for 2018 stand just over $10 million. I've also had 2019 submitted, which was at your tabletop today, which did cause some confusion. That's not the entire document, but the entire document is just under 20 million requests for 2019.
The usual amount.
Usual amounts, yeah. The overall understanding is, in particular with the infrastructure of this city, it's always cheaper to do something with it now than it is to defer it. Your costs are less to maintain or do repair and ultimately rebuild now than to delay it. And by the amounts that we've been doing, I won't say necessarily historically, but most recently was about $3.4 million worth of borrowing in a year. You can see that it would be 3 years to catch up with requests for next year. So one option, and talking with Fred, and again reaching out to Brian Vigut, our finance consultant, looking at some of the options in particular for our utilities. One way that we can focus our our general fund capital expenses and borrowing on general fund purposes is to pull out and use mortgage revenue bonds for our utilities. So the utilities would fund directly versus indirectly its expenses. Generally, if you want to look at the mortgage revenue bonds, you're looking at least 2-year projects in its entirety, not trying to do this on an annual basis. I think the last time we did one was 2007, I believe, and then refinanced 2006, and then refinanced using lower rates in 2015. So this is not necessarily a new concept. It's something that the city has done in the past. But one opportunity would present by pulling forward, which would be in the red highlighted areas, the projects that include utilities from 2019 forward to 2018, combining those for issuing mortgage revenue bonds for the utilities, would actually free up some space in 2018's capital borrowing for the more general fund projects.
I have a question. What about this item number 4, the Holiday Heights project, would that fall in that category?
That's an excellent example. The item number 4, under the current plan, the full borrowing, $1.684 million, all inclusive, including sanitary water. Now, the 1.64 would come out of the standard $3.4 million that we've done in the past, that full amount. Utilities still pay their portion. But when we go to market, we'd be looking at the 3.4, including the full 1.68. If you like the concept of actually setting aside the amounts for 2018, 2019, we could move most of that minus about 600,000, correct? 600,000 would stay in the general fund, but $1 million then would be moved to that. So that would free up $1 million for general fund borrowing by utilizing that. But again, you'd have to be looking at any project that in the next 2 years would be utility focused, utility based, that we can use the revenues from utility would be one option. Not to hide the fact that you have to make sure that you have the revenue within utilities to pay for that, so you do have to look for making sure that the rates supply enough to cover the costs, which you would in any case, even if you're not doing this, if you're including it within the 3.4. Right. That's the first idea. The second idea is, in reaching out to our financial consultant, is obviously our rating with Moody's is always an issue. By having a good rating, it's cheaper for us to borrow long term. We did get confirmation today that they'd be comfortable at an amount of $3.7 million instead of the $3.4 million that historically we have done, which should not impact our rate with Moody's as well. So because rates are low right now, because we've actually done an excellent job paying off our debt in a timely manner, and I think, Fred, you can get into that. We're actually at the point where it's harming us by having us paid off so quickly and fast without going in additional debt. If there's ever an opportunity to look at both increasing to a slight degree the general fund expenditures and utilize the utilities to directly fund through revenue bonds their source, this may be the opportunity to do so while rates are still low. But again, it's up to the committee to kind of decide that. If you decide that concept, I think it dictates then a prioritization list of these are the projects we'd like to do. Obviously, we could have some greater details on those numbers if you like that concept next month.
I will speak, or Fred, you wanted to speak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add to what Jared and the city administrator has stated was we would, if the concept is acceptable, we would bring the figures back, but we would do, for example, the Holiday Heights, we'd either do a NAN or a state trust fund loan just temporarily, because there's going to be a lot of engineering requirement that won't happen until 2019, and that was then we have to have a few things in order, i.e. water. If we do mortgage revenue bonds, the requirement is there has to be adequate revenue coming in to support the debt. And so that would give us time, not only from our standpoint of getting the enterprise funds in order, but also Jared's time to do the engineering necessary if some of those projects were looked at.
Okay. Well, I will start off by saying I like the concept. I think we have enough pressure on us that we need to find some way to kind of free up some of that room, and I think this is the way to do that. So I'll be the first one to hit the ball. Gentlemen, what do you think? Go ahead, Jared.
Go through the specific projects, or what's the?
I think we will. We're just talking.
We're talking about the concept right now of this new financing mode.
I think we don't have to vote on anything here. We're going to say yes, it sounds good, or I mean, we're not voting on any particular measure here, are we?
Well, I think we should send a vote forward.
Are you? Is there a specific motion that we need to respond to then?
Well, as you go through the projects looking for the 2018 capital improvement, and ultimately that's what we're approving this evening, is which projects are within the 2018 portion. those projects may change or be impacted depending on if you agree to this concept or not. The Holiday Heights is the great example that way. You know, you can still prioritize them, and we can come back next month and say, well, here's option A, here's option B, if you like the concept or not like the concept. But it may adjust the projects that make the list or don't make the list, depending on the funding sources for those projects. That way. If you do decide to go that concept, I would recommend having a vote on that so that for the record shows that at least this committee supports that or not supporting that.
Okay, let me make this simple. I will make a motion that we support this concept.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Questions? Fred?
With that said, I guess I'd like to have Jared briefly talk about, I think there's 3 projects in 2019. There's 4 projects in 2019 that the concept would be considering, along with the projects in 2018 that are water and sewer related.
Go ahead.
So as Fred referred to in the 2019 capital improvements budget that was handed out last month's meeting that was included with the 5-year proposed budget, we have projects in 2019 that are heavy sewer and water projects. Typically, if you've noticed over the past 20 years, we've tried to, the City of Onalaska has tried to reinvest in its existing neighborhoods. So if you go down to Wilson Street, 8th Avenue South, 9th Avenue South, Lacrosse Street, Monroe Street, Madison, 8th Avenue North, those have all been redone in the last 20 years. New water, sewer, those were all installed in the 30s and 40s. So we're to the point now where we're targeting areas that have 1950s utilities. So if you look at that list that I handed out last night that was handed out last month, and I've circled in red, for instance, project number 11 is a Sunset Vista subdivision. So that is between Quincy Street and Troy Street, Highway 35 and East Avenue. It's at the point where the pavement is getting down in its phaser rating. We're getting to the point where the pavement should be replaced, and all of the water main and utilities underneath are at the point where they should get rotated out. That also goes with project 29, which is Troy Street. That would also be part of that same neighborhood. So we're targeting one neighborhood, but it's a condensed area where we can get a lot of work done using the water and sewer utility mortgage revenue bonds to fund that water and sewer portion of the work. Item number 12 is sanitary sewer slip lining. We've split that into 2 years. We showed part of that in the 2018 budget, and we showed part of that in the 2019 budget to slip line sewers where the streets are in relatively good condition. We know we can get more life out of them if we slip line them. Feel it's the most cost-effective way to repair those sewers. Item number 22 to go with that would be the 4th project would be the 6th Avenue lift station. This is at 6th and Quincy. This station currently drains the whole northern third of the city. The station, it was built in the late 50s. It has had multiple remodelings over the years, but needs to have better access for our new sewer equipment to be able to clean out the wet well. Right now it's a safety hazard. We have to send an employee down in if we truly want to get the lift station cleaned out, we have to send an employee down into the wet well. And with the amount of flows that have increased over the years, we have to hire more trucks to come in and do it in the middle of the night in order to be able to do that. So not only is it a safety problem for employees, it's getting to the point where we want to upgrade that lift station. So that is also part of the sewer and water projects that I've identified in the 2019 budget that can be moved forward and paid for as part of this. I think, is that explained?
Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. So city administrator will put a new set of accounts forward. Is that what we should be looking for?
Those items, Mr. Chair, those items that Jared just mentioned, 11, 12, 22, and 29 will be added to the list that stopped at 61.
Okay.
We will probably take the one project and combine it because there's already a slip lining project, so we'll probably just combine that into instead of having 2 projects, we'll have one with a change in the amount.
Okay.
So with that, with that, for starters, we'll bring forward an updated plan at next month's meeting, but I think we should still attempt to go through the list, as Harvey stated, and look at priorities of projects, because even with this, we're still over on the numbers. So I think we should go through and see if there's items that we would either like to change right away or say that, yes, this is a priority, and kind of go from there. And I could either go through projects. I do have a couple of projects that I believe that have to be done. So I guess we can do it either way. However you'd like to move forward, but I think Eric's got something he'd like to state too.
Okay, why don't we do that as soon as we talk to Eric here? Fred, you want to get your hand off the mic so the city administrator can talk?
These are back of the envelope calculations we kind of put together about an hour before this meeting. With those mortgage revenue projects on the books, there's a portion of that which would still be general fund. The streets on top of it, for example, the portion that's not allocated to that. Using those forward, obviously using a target number, then we have, and this includes now Holiday Heights, put into the mortgage revenue, which takes about $1 million out of that. So the back down the calculation is you have about $2.7 million to look at for the projects for 2018 using the general fund. Is that correct?
We're going to have to do a better calculation of that for next month.
3.7, but it's approximately $1 million.
Yeah, depending on which projects stay in and which projects come out and which way it flows.
But to give the committee a target for the projects that are on the list yet.
Harvey?
So I guess with that, a couple of things I'd like to bring up in the proposed capital improvement budget would be item number 1 would be sidewalk repair program. I feel this has to stay in. We do this every year. We do 1/7 of the city for sidewalk maintenance, and then also whatever repairs that come in during the year. We have things, sections of curb we replace in the city that aren't part of a specific project. This really funds all of that work, and that really has to stay in. It's a yearly thing. Item number 2, pavement maintenance program. This is basically the chip seal that we do to prolong the city streets, and the crack filling that we do is funded out of this. This basically is the biggest bang for your buck of any portion of the list, so I think that is a must in my mind to fund that. Then I'd also go to item 14 and 15. These are our match for the STP urban projects. These have been getting designed over the last few years. They'll actually be bid by the state of Wisconsin in January at the January LET. So we are receiving 80% funding. So you can see that our portion of the funding, we are committed to these projects. These have to get funded. We have to be able to provide for our 20% match as part of those projects when they get bid. So those are the 4 projects that I see on the list that really have to stay, in my opinion.
Okay. Fred?
With that said, can we have some brief discussion on number 13, or I'll make a motion to have it deleted?
What's your motion, Fred?
What'd you say?
Motion to delete number 13 on page 2 of 6.
Did you say delete number 13?
Second that. Do we have to second, I mean, make a motion on every item we delete, or how's that work? Every item we delete, we make a motion on?
Yes.
Second that.
Okay. It's a motion by Fred, seconded by Harvey to delete item 13 in the amount of $1,532,000. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item was placed on there in anticipation of being able to improve water and sewer up towards Highway OT, County Road OT, not beyond our northern boundary right now in this area, in particular where the business park is, across from McDonald's, where the Quick Trip is located at. In reviewing the boundary agreements, there's 2 agreements that come to play. One is between the Village of Holman and the city of Onalaska regarding that boundary line, who annexes beyond there. It's a 10-year agreement, and it's renewable every 10 years. But there's also the other agreement, which is including the Village of Holman. Based on the language within that agreement, it's unlikely that in the next several years we'd be able to affect a annexation to run water and sewer up to that area. So I agree that it's appropriate to remove it this time.
Okay. Anyone else? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? It's removed.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to discuss item number 6, Greens Coulee. Would that be okay, Jared, if we pursue that? I talked with Jared and Katie, and Jared showed me a study that was done back in 1999 relative to that subdivision, and it just, given the growth back in there, it appears to me that, based on what I've seen here, that they've exceeded, I guess, the design capacity of that intersection there. And it's not a matter of when, it's a matter of, or not of whether, it's a matter of when. And I think we need to look at options on how we do the funding to make the changes there. I know we're doing, we're looking at a study of $100,000. But I think that we need to assure the public that we're going to move forward some way to fix that situation there. And furthermore, I know that I drove around to all the streets that we're looking at repairing. And of course, it's easy to look on the surface. And you know what's underground. Like, for example, 2nd Avenue, I can't imagine why we need to replace that. But I guess what I'm saying is, at some point, we need to balance. We need to trade off something that we consider necessary, namely the intersection issue there, with maybe having to decline in terms of the overall quality of the streets. For example, I know that we have East Main on there. I travel it all the time. I think that we need to, if it's a matter of, say, hey, do we surface or reconstruct East Main, or do set aside some money, if that's possible, for the Greens Coulee, I think we need to do that. There's got to be some way we can creatively fund Greens Coulee.
You don't know which one it is?
No.
What's your mic number there?
7.
I just feel like I'm in a barrel here.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Got a question for Jared on that Greens Coulee. There was a study done on that in the past.
1999, we actually had a study commissioned, and that study outlined alternate accesses out of the coulee, which there was no good alternate access for second access. Basically said that the intersection could function with, at that time, 250 more homes being built, and we've had about 330 new lots since that study being in the Greens Coulee. So we're at about the point where the study said it's going to fail. With that, it didn't get into, it had short-term design goals, so the right turn lane that you see today, get on the ramp, that was part of it. At the time, Greens Coulee only had one lane coming out, so you couldn't make a right turn without waiting for the left turn. So some of those easy projects were done at the time, 15 years ago. But the study didn't get into long-term or large fixes for the intersection. The engineering department has done some schematic designs themselves, but they're very rudimentary, and we don't have a lot of the details that we would need. My goal with this, if this was to move forward, would be the schematic design would give us a set of plans that would probably be 10 or 15% design. With that, there'd be enough money in there, we could hire an engineering firm to assist us with that design. We could also then have the whole intersection surveyed, have the survey work done so we know where we're working with, where the property lines exactly are, how to fit everything in, work with the DOT, have our consultant work with the DOT on on what stipulations there would be with the on-off ramps, work with the, as you know, the whole all of the Greens Coulee watershed drains out through the box culverts in that location. So the preliminary estimate that I performed had a lot of stormwater work in it. So those are all things that we've got preliminary numbers on, but they're very high level numbers. There's no depth to those numbers. They haven't been, where if we did the schematic design, which would also, I feel really include a little bit of preliminary design, it would not be a study that we would be looking at having a book that we could hand to someone. We're going to try and get something where we would have a physical plan to say, this is what it would cost. We're very sure of what it would be. This is what it would cost to move forward to do a full-fledged intersection improvement of some kind at that intersection.
Fred?
If I recall, Jared, back in 1999 study, the Wisconsin DOT felt that the car count, and also looking at those ramps, because they're really concerned about what it was going to do there. Are you saying that you would be open to the fact of doing the schematic and not doing the preliminary, and then budgeting the preliminary at a future date?
Correct. I feel that the schematic design would get us, it would take us a year to get the schematic design done. We'd have to get a consultant on board. We would have to come up with some alternatives, probably gather public input at a public information meeting of some kind, do a variety of things like that, and I think that would get us to the point where we would have a lot more information. Because right now, when I have the public call me, as the mayor stated, he gets calls and things, we've got a very high-level number and very high-level work done on it, but we don't have anything we can solidly give out to anybody.
I make a motion to remove item 2, or number 6, line 2, preliminary design in the amount of $200,000.
Second.
A motion made by Fred, seconded by Ron, to eliminate 6, subparent A, subparent 2, for $200,000. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Item number 7, Sand Lake Road reconstruction. This is has been a placeholder, was inserted in 2016 for any possible design engineering work that might need to be done on Sand Lake Road with any future development in that corridor. At this time, we have not seen that come forward, so I think we can wait a year. I'll make a motion that we remove item number 7 from the 2018 capital improvement budget.
Second.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Harvey, to remove item number 7 in the amount of $50,000. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? So moved.
Excuse me, I have a question of Fred. Fred, I'm sorry about this. To the extent we can move out an item, let's say we have a street, I don't know which one, let's say $1 million. We can move it out, let's say a year or two. Does that enhance our capability to either fund or set aside money to take care of the Greens Coulee intersection?
I guess I'm going to answer it quite a little bit slightly different. Avon, Alaska receives state aid from connecting highways and improvements to streets. And so when the city has been focusing on the last couple years very heavily in repairing our streets, we receive the reward indirectly through the street reconstruction. So the street reconstruction is going to weight a lot heavier than some design on something that may never turn into reality.
I don't, I'm sorry, did you answer my question?
Yes,
'Cause
what I'm saying is there's more.
Because I'm not
value-
sure. I'm sorry?
There's more value in completing streets than it is in a design of a project.
Mayor,
Jared.
and I think I know Harvey's question, so I'll help kind of restate it.
Jared?
Basically, I think Alderman Bertrand is asking if can we put aside money from the capital improvement budget for this project that he sees as a priority in the future, but not knowing the date yet, and put it away. Where I think part of what I see with the capital improvement budget, if we are going to borrow funds for projects, we should fund projects that we have to expend today, not be borrowing and paying the debt service on projects that haven't happened yet. I will say that we have in the past funded projects in dual years, where we've committed to funding the project and started the project and then funded it over 2 cycles. We've done that with such things as the library, the pool, the public works facility, larger projects like that. But I think and that's kind of what the question is, Fred, is the if we're going to save money, can we put some of it aside? It kind of is kind of what, is that what your question is?
And
Yes.
I would not recommend it, nor would I support it.
I guess my basic question is, or issue is, what we do with so much of our money, and it has to be this way, is to fix and repair and maintain. And I hope we have some money that we can use to better enhance the lives of our citizens, and improve a facility that's a tangible improvement in their lifestyle. That's all. That's the point I'm getting to. And I do understand what you're saying, but there's got to be some way to maybe make life a better place to live here in Alaska. That's my point.
Well, and I think that's what we're doing by fixing streets and maintaining our capital improvements, because I don't know about you, but if we let our streets go, I know my phone's going to start ringing off the hook, because that's a quality of life issue that our people really want to hear about.
I agree with Joe. Take care of what you got. You'll keep everybody happy. As we find a need, we'll move forward and we'll do these jobs. Obviously, we've got a problem down there. It's an ongoing, growing portion of the city of Alaska. To borrow money to do a study is a bad idea.
Okay, next, Fred.
Jared, can you kind of expand a little bit on 40 A, B, and C?
Yeah, 40 A, B, and C are waterfront improvements. So what we have, as you know, with the Great River Landing project that has been completed, going through the Great River Landing Committee, they have prioritized that they did discuss possibly requesting fundings to start designing a phase 2 of the project. Upon discussion with that committee, they felt it was best to wait another year at least to see how and what happens with the uses of the facility, and also what's going on with the other construction in the downtown, to see how uses would complement one another. So with that, the committee did prioritize trying to place item A, Main Street Plaza enhancements of $75,000. At the end of Main Street, if you notice, there's a planter, a large concrete area. There was some timber seating that was bid out with the project, but due to budget constraints, it was removed from the final award of the project. So they're requesting the $75,000 to finish off the plaza area with some benches, some tables, a variety of enhancements to that area. Item B is interpretive signage, looking at putting in 5 interpretive signs to look at the interpretive nature of what you see down there for the spillway, for the lumber history, the river history, a variety of things for what that area has been over the years. They're hoping to get a grant to pay for that, so there's no capital improvements funding for that. And item C is a drinking fountain bottle water fill station for the facility. It's something that was not installed as part of the original project. So those are the three A, B, and C of the waterfront improvements.
Got a question, Mayor?
Yes.
Jared, can you explain on the Second Avenue project, or I guess reconstruction? Again, I can't see under the surface, and you're the expert, but driving down Second Avenue, it doesn't look that bad. So,
the project that's in the capital improvements list is Second Avenue Southwest, which actually runs from Second Avenue down toward the railroad tracks. So that's the project
that's the piece I'm talking about.
That's the one that's that's the asphalt street down through there.
Yep.
That street's not in the best repair. Plus that's actually project number. I don't have it memorized yet.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost it here.
That is actually item project number 11.
11, okay.
So if you go down there and look, the aggregate phaser rating for that street is a 2.3, plus the water main is actually undersized. It's 6-inch, but it's undersized because that's the single loop main that delivers all the way out to Lauderdale. So we're going to increase the size of the water main. We've actually seen decreased water pressures now that we put the check valves on the loop that goes through Northwest Hardwoods. So that's what that project is. But going back to item 40, that is one that went through the Great River Landing Committee, and that is what their request is for item number 40.
Well, I guess from what I understand is I'm not opposed to the project, but there may be other sources of funding. And this letter C, I understand you have issues down there the way it is with fill stations, unless you find one that's an anti-frost capability.
Yeah, there'd have to be some research done on which exact model to purchase before we did it to ensure that we had one that was going to work.
Ron?
That was discussed at the committee meeting. I know a standard one isn't going to work there.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing is the funding on this. You know, Harvey's brought it forward several times that there's private parties that are interested in getting involved down there. You know, and I'm all about letting people spend money on projects they feel that they want to have done. Get the horses rolling.
Okay. City Administrator?
I guess, is that a motion then to remove A and C? I can say that the La Crosse Foundation is very much interested in the interpretive signage. So we would expect a strong word, but I anticipate perhaps receiving funding for the interpretive signage from La Crosse Foundation.
So we leave the interpretive sign dollars. Is that what you're saying?
Provided that it's funded by outside source, perhaps.
Well, it's shown right now as no budget impact, so.
Yeah, it says they're showing nothing through borrowing.
Yes, correct.
Meaning without the grants, no signage purchased.
Correct.
Okay, what else are we looking at here? Jared, what projects could you do without? What do you think are the least plausible or the least things that we could push off?
Well, and that's always a loaded question.
I know it is. But let's talk about it.
And I'll go back. I haven't given you my philosophical rendition of the capital improvements budget for 2018 yet, but as you know, every year we go through the budget and look at various things, and there's a variety of departments within the budget. There's items for the police department, there's items for the fire department, there's items for the parks, there's items for the Omni Center. You know, I can speak specifically to all the public works projects, but I know that other department heads that are in the audience, you know, there's projects that are you know, reasoning in their realm that they are a priority in their department. So there's always a myriad of things that can be done, should be done. What, you know, obviously looking through the budget, you're going to have tough decisions trying to get everything through. So I guess I can look through some of the public works projects here quick and just kind of, we can go through a few of them. Some of the ones, if we go down to the back end of the capital improvements list for public works, we've got item 31, which is the pond 1708-inch outfall repairs. We are hoping that we will receive FEMA funds for that. So I think there's a good chance of that. So we could move 60,000 of the 75 over to other sources, which would be FEMA. I don't know if you're be okay with that, Fred, or.
What done this last FEMA project was that 12% that was our responsibility?
12 and a half,
12
yeah.
and a half. So that's your split, or 60 of the 75?
Yeah, 60 leaves us, you know, it's probably.
I'll make a motion to slide 60,000 of the project number 31 to other sources, that being potentially a FEMA grant, and leaving 15,000 into the need for borrowing.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to slide 60,000 on item number 31 into the other sources column, leaving $15,000.
Joe, can that project get slid back without more damage getting done?
That project, I think right now it is stabilized to the point where I don't envision anything else happening. If there would be something that would have to happen, we'd have to emergency go down there and just authorize the repairs. But I think Kevin could speak further. He's done some preliminary engineering work kind of looking at it down there, but I think it's relatively stable enough for now that we can wait to see what happens.
Okay. Any other comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Mayor?
Yes.
I could move to item 32, John Street storm sewer replacement. We've got John Street's a short street between 2nd Avenue and 3rd Avenue on the north end of the highway. The storm sewer is very deep in that area. We've got a sinkhole forming. We have repaired it. We don't have a design performed yet for that. We're going to have to look at some other methods of trying to look at repairs besides just an open cut repair. So we're not at the point where city staff feels that we can move forward with the project. We'd like to wait a year. We have repaired what we can for now. We've televised it. We feel it would last. So I guess I'd make a motion that we remove 32 from the list.
Second.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Ron, that we remove item 32 in the amount of $100,000 from the capital improvement budget. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Item 33 is Sand Lake Road street lighting, Rolling Oaks to County Trunk Highway SN. In 2011, Sand Lake Road was reconstructed from the Riders Club Road roundabout. The roundabout was installed in 2011 to the split between County Trunk Highway S and SN. As part of that project, street lighting was put in. The street lighting was only extended to Rolling Oaks Drive because at the time there was no development north of it. It was open lots. Since then, Traditional Trades has installed a large apartment complex, and they have requested that the street lighting that was originally installed, or originally not installed as part of that project, to be included in the capital improvement budget, to be now installed since their development has happened.
I would too if I were them.
I have a question. Item number 8, the...
Oh, we're not done with this one.
Sorry?
We're not done with this one yet, I don't think.
Sorry.
I guess along that line now, okay, if for 113,000, it puts in how many lights and how much is electricity that, I mean, the city of Onalaska pays a significant amount of electricity costs.
Correct. Currently, I don't have the exact number, but those are LED, would be LED fixtures. So the good thing is we could run it into the existing control panel that's there. So we wouldn't have a service cost. We'd have more electricity cost. I would guess it would be relatively a few $100s per year for the actual electricity cost. I think we had 15 to 18 new lights going in.
And typical when there's a project, let's take a different street. If a project is done by a developer, they're responsible for street lighting?
Correct. If a new subdivision comes in, or a certified survey map, new street improvement by a developer, they are required to put the street lights in. Correct.
And then, but this one is unique because of the what?
We went through and did the project in 2011 and paid all the costs for the project, but we did not include this section of street lighting.
So is somebody going to make a motion to do something with this $113,000?
So what are we doing?
We're talking. Because what's the
Good thing to do.
Well, the thing, I guess, the only thing I wanted to say is nobody likes to do anything here. Because, I mean, the thing is, we got a lot of stuff to do. We're going to be here a long time because we have $10 million. We got to get this thing way down. So it's never easy to take projects out of any form or fashion. Someone has to be the bad guy or good guy. But we can pass for now, but I'm sure it'll be brought back up whether later tonight or next meeting.
I guess I feel with the amount of other projects looking at street paving, things such as that, I think we will look, engineering department will look at possibly installing one light through the local utility provider, Riverland Energy, at the driveway going into the development, which I think is needed. But we can look at that through other channels. I guess I'd make a motion to delete item 33 for the Sand Lake Road street lighting for $113,000.
Second. Second that.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Ron, to pull out item 33 in the amount of $113,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Item 34, public art. We've had a request from various individuals to put public art in various spots throughout the city, including the Great River Landing and other spots. So we included an item labeled public art. We do not have a direct correlation of a project to put that to, but it was included as a possibility of funding.
I make a motion that we pull that public art in the amount of $75,000.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Fred. All in favor signify, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Item 29, Mayor, if I may. Is that okay? I assume I can.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Item 29 is traffic signal replacement renovation. We've got 2 traffic signals identified within the city. We have the 12th and Sand Lake Road Main Street intersection and Theater Road and Main Street. That should be East Main, not East Avenue, so we'll have to correct that for next month. But Theater Road and East Main was installed in 1999, has not had any upgrades done to it. The control cabinet's the same inside. It's basically a computer system. It's the point where it could use to be upgraded. I think it can make it another year. The 12th and Sand Lake Road Main Street intersection, that was installed in the very early 80s. The control cabinet was replaced at one point, but we're having troubles now with the wiring underneath the ground, having shorts, especially in the wintertime. We get snow melt. That's an old-style DOT intersection where all the pull boxes, all the wire nuts are in the pull boxes. They get wet, shorts out. That intersection, I would guess the DOT at some point, because Main Street is a state trunk highway, at some point it'll probably be 10 years away because it's not in their 6-year plan at all right now to redo it to the point where they're going to replace everything. So that intersection is going to have to make it another 10 plus years, and I don't think that signal equipment will make it that long. As you know, you see a lot of cars every day using that intersection. There's probably about 13,000 cars a day traffic count, 12,000 on the leg that goes between 53 and 12th Avenue. So that one, I think, you know, that's the one that item 29A is one I'd like to see get more discussion on, but I would make just looking at priorities and looking at what we're trying to go with, I'd make a motion to delete item 29B, Theater Road and East Main signal improvements for $170,000.
Second.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Ron to delete 29B in the amount of $170,000. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay, let's see. We got that down to that. Ordinance updates for zoning code plan. And forestry.
I guess with that, we could go through some of the street reconstruction projects. There's a variety. There's probably $2 million of the paving projects on here. Obviously, we know they all can't get funded. I guess we could.
Well, Mr. Chair, as long as we're on this page, I guess if Don wishes to talk about number 41.
The fire department land and facilities. Included within the budget, there's $396,000 for purchase of an acre and a half of land for a potential future fire station. The exact location of this station has not been determined yet. So this is an earmarked funds for purchase of land for a future station. I guess with that, the fire chief is in the audience if you want to have exact discussion on.
Well, I think it's a good project. However, I think its time has not come yet, unfortunately. I know we've been pushing it off for a long time, but, you know, with budgets the way they are, I think we just have to, I'll make a motion that we delete item 41 in the amount of $396,000.
Second.
Question?
Motion by the mayor, seconded by Ron.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
At
Harvey.
what point do we make that determination? I'm inclined not to include it too, but at what point in the future do we say, let's say in 15 years from now, probably we'll need it? Like, how do we make that determination? Yeah.
Well, I'm as I think we all are here is to borrow dollars for something in the future is something we just can't do. I mean, we have this list of things that we need to have done. I'm in full favor of what Jared did on the traffic lights because we are struggling right now on issues that happen out there. Those wires are just horrific out there in that Sand Lake location intersection. Something that's we're just going to have to move it until sometime we see it viable to do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. City Administrator.
an action to remove that would not bar when an opportunity arises for it to still come before the council. In that case, if there's negotiation and there's an opportunity to do something on that side, we can negotiate, go to closed session, decide. If that's approved, it obviously would have to be, budget would be amended for that expense for the year. We'll probably have to look at a state trust fund to purchase it, and then that cost would have to be rolled over into another year's borrowing. So those are discussions that can be had at the time if there's something that's available, opportunity, and there's support for that. You're not precluding that. It just obviously makes it a little more complicated during the year if there's the will to proceed. So it's not cutting it off permanently, but it is something that we're saying at this point in time to borrow. It's a high interest rate, and then have it sit in a low interest rate doesn't seem to make more sense to me.
You satisfied? Any other questions? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? Dan, could you come up to the podium?
I don't know if we can see him coming or not.
He's parking cars later. Could you talk to us a little bit about these projects you have on here?
So the park projects that you have in front of you are prioritized via the park board, came through with the recommendations. The first one is playground surfacing. With the 26 playgrounds that we have, we are falling behind on surfacing under that. We've gone to rubber surfacing under some of them, so we don't have the annual maintenance of doing it. So that is why that item is number 1. Item 43 can be removed. This item was put into the tourism budget. We are working with the building down at the waterfront. The Room Tax Commission did put some parameters on that, and we're working with the finance department and stuff to get back. So that $50,000 can be removed. Meyer Farm, this is a split project. We have $30,000 coming out of the capital improvement budget. We have $20,000 coming out of the park fund development based on the development going on in this area. This is for new outdoor fitness equipment with the developer in that area. We've been working with him as their development goes on and to fund that in this area. Item 45 is playground. This is replacing the playground at Hilltopper Heights, corner of Sand Lake and Wells Street. This playground is, about 20 some years old, and as we're looking at our street projects, this is the time that we are, starting to look at our playgrounds to come back in and try to do a playground each year on replacement. The next one is Community Center. Community Center was built in the mid-1970s, and the building is in need of some redesign, so we've allocated some funds to work with an architect of some sort to come in and create some plans for us to what improvements need to be made. The building is our most popular shelter rented 12 months out of the year. It is also used 5 days a week by the county nutrition site as a meal site program. Royal Park parking lot for shelter number 1. This item is something that we have been working with, but knowing the circumstances where we are, I would make a recommendation to this committee that we can remove item 47. I can continue down to the Omni Center, City Hall if we want. Or
yes, why don't you do that?
Have more conversation.
You want to try and take care of some of the park projects first?
I would.
I'll make a motion that we remove item 47.
Second.
Motion made by Jared, seconded by Harvey, that we remove item 47 in the amount of $50,000. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
Make a motion to remove number 43.
Actually, we'd move it over to less amount other sources, Fred? Leave it in there as a project, but...
No, because it's in the tourism's budget
Oh, okay.
as an expenditure.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Fred, seconded by Ron to remove item 43 in the amount of $50,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
So, I'll let you finish, Mr. Chair.
Abstentions? So moved. Go ahead now, Fred.
I'll turn it over to, I think Eric is going to say the same thing.
Oh, very good. Well, you can say it then. Item number 44. From what I understand here, the total cost is actually about $55,000, correct?
Yep.
So on the Meyer Farm Playground, the general fund cost is $30,000. The total cost is $55,000. Less other sources is $25,000, which is park impact fees. So that
Eric,
expense,
it's actually 50, excuse me, 50, because we have 20 in the park development and
20,
30
so
here.
it's $50,000 total
Correct.
cost and $20,000 less other sources. Sorry.
Okay.
Those park impact fees need to be expended before they go back.
Along that same line as the project then will be modified to read $50,000 for general, total cost of 50, and then 20,000 coming from other sources. I make that in the form of a motion.
Second?
Okay, motion to just adjust the numbers here, is that what you, okay. Motion made by Fred, second by Harvey to adjust the numbers to $50,000 on item number 44 with $20,000 coming from other sources. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions. So moved.
Mr. Chair, if I could, and I ask Dan this every year, you're saying that items 42 are the ones that are left in that section. None of those would comply or be able to use any park fund dollars.
No. And the reason for that is no new development. Park fund money cannot be used for redevelopment. It can only be used for new items brought to the community.
Okay. Okay.
Well, number 44 is new,
And we're using park fund monies for that.
not 100%.
We're not using 100% because there's already land development in that area, and you can't use 100% of park fund monies in an area where there's already development that has taken place.
Okay, Dan, why don't we go down to the Omni first?
So Omni Center, again, this is items prioritized from the park board level. Number one is the mezzanine arena, in Arena 1. Building inspection department came up in 2014 and found that we had, as long as I've known the building, we've had a wooden mezzanine above the chiller in Arena 1 that's used for storage. They told us that we could not do that. The state of Wisconsin came in and gave us a 3-year time frame that needed to get it done. So that project needs to be done in 2018. So that's a price that we have for a contractor to come in, take out all the wood structure, and put in a metal ceiling above this area. Item number 2 is Arena 1 roof. This is to come in. We've used a product that comes in to seal the metal roof. We did this on the lower portion of the roof a couple years ago. We've been extremely happy with the outcomes, and we are looking to do that with the main arena roof. Water coolers, this is the bottle fill stations to replace some of our older water fill stations at the Omni Center. Number 53 is the Omni Center. When it was built, we have a lot of little air conditioners all over the building, and this is for the air conditioning unit in the lobby, the front hallway, the restrooms up in front of the building. We have been fixing this with baler twine and duct tape, trying to keep this thing going, and don't believe that it's probably going to make us another season. 54 is portable volleyball standards. As we are running more and more tournaments and things, becoming an area that as a destination for this, we need one more set to give us so we could have 6 courts rather than anchoring things off of walls and running cables to try to get this done. 55 is sport court covering. We use sport court. We bring that down. What we have to do right now in any event we have in the building, we have to bring staff in to pull the court up, put it back down, sometimes very tight turnaround. What we are looking for is a surfacing, a covering system, a rubber flooring that we can come down, lay over top of it so we can have the sport court down. For example, we have sport court down. We have the Riverland Energy picnic tomorrow night. We could roll the rubber flooring over the top. People could walk on it. Wouldn't affect the flooring. And then at the end of the night, end of the day, when we need the sport court, we could roll the flooring back up. Item 56 is the portable basketball court set. This is an item that I would recommend that we take out. We have 6 hoops right now. There's no need to try to get to more sets at this time. I will suggest, I know the last couple of years some of the funding has come out of the tourism account. Fred, you would have to know which account that was, where we funded a number of these projects, as this is a destination to the community. I know Alderman Benash has helped us and taken some of the funding out of the capital improvement and funded it out of that.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we take item 56 out at the amount of $36,000.
Second.
Second by Harvey. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved.
I'll make a motion that we transfers numbers 50 through 55 to other sources using the in the Special Projects Fund. For some of us had been here a while. There were dollars that were transferred from the tourism to the Special Projects Fund. I don't have in front of me the dollars that are left, but I think that would be a good use of those funds.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Fred, seconded by Ron, to move items 50 through 55 to the Special Projects Fund. Discussion? Hearing none? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay, so this stuff is all up.
Mayor, do you want to go back to then
City Hall.
City Hall.
Let's do City Hall now.
Okay. Item 58 is boiler replacement. It's not really a boiler replacement, it's a boiler addition. Here at the City Hall, we have 2 large boilers. If you go down to that room about any time, it's probably about 110 degrees in there. And in working with the contractors, they believe if we put a high-efficiency boiler in there, especially during our cooling season, where that room is so hot that we're cooling the air all around it, but that it's continuing to bring more water or warm air into it. They believe we can save costs on that, have a relatively quick payback, but it is a project to try to help efficiency in the building. They don't believe the boilers, Ron, you probably have more understanding of this, but they don't believe the big boilers would run very much during the summer. They'd be able to operate at a much lower temperature and be able to continue to function. LED lighting. This is for the Highway 16 lights at the welcome sign, and then also the sign here. We've tried to replace lights there. We have worked with the company that put them in, and the bulbs are extremely expensive. Some we have not even been able to get. And so we're looking to come in and put all new LED lighting in this location, for the $3,500 that is listed. Item 60 is the carpet. Police department. We have gone through the clerk suite, the park and rec suite. We're just trying to hit up certain departments each year to replace the carpet in there, as this building, is 17, 18 years old. So the police department first floor is the item that we that we have here. And then item 61, like we've had over the last 2 years at the Omni Center, funded to the LED replacement as we go through the building and replace that. So,
Okay. Any questions of Dan? I think those are all your departments, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any?
I'll make a motion to remove number 59 on this list. The main reason I get a little concerned when we have such little item, and that's 2 items, that's 3,500 cut in half, charging capital projects to fund when I think it could come out of the equipment replacement fund.
Second.
Motion made by Fred, very long motion, and justification for it. Seconded by Harvey. Discussion? The motion is to remove item 59 in the amount of $3,500. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Item number 39, is that the one we eliminated in CDA? Remember, Ron, we said no to a $30,000 plan for planning along Sand Lake?
Yep, I do.
Is that the same one? Are we just kind of double counting? Huh?
City
Sorry?
Administrator?
Yes, that is the correct case.
So
The CDA, it was proposed to the CDA to use funds that they have to update what was called the Menards area plan, instead to do the Sand Lake Special Area Land Use Plan. The attempt or the thought is to create the special area land use plan prior to any developments, redevelopment. The assumption, of course, being Mayo Clinic is going there. But there's other land in the area that may or may not be developed, and under the current guidelines, they can be developed in different kinds of ways versus having a plan now in place so that if Mayo does move forward, there is a broader scope of what the city would like to see there. It does require some changes. CDA denied that request to use the funds. It's here again to possibly hire a consultant to complete that process for us. If need be, then we can use staff time as available to try to do that. So that request. While I'm at it, I might as well speak on the planning department's items.
Yes, please do. You read my mind.
Which one? 39. Well, I'll speak on them and then we'll get to there. Item 35, ordinance updates for zoning code plan. You've seen that staff has been updating as needed certain areas of the code. The request here was originally made for 2017, now in 2018, is a full comprehensive review of all the zoning code items. Looking at my shoulder, CK's not here, no. So she can speak on that. It's something that should be done on a regular basis to make sure that as changes you're making are don't contradict each other, and often that is the case. Urban forestry, number 36. That's a general plan for the urban forestry. Tree planting, number 37. Again, 50,000 for replacement of some of the areas that are more sparse. That really kind of leads into number 38, the management plan update. You can see that it's 50-50 match with Wisconsin DNR to update our overall tree management plan, including types of trees, locations, and do a review of our inventory. Sand Lake Road Special Area, again, planning for contracting out for services, which we just talked about. The number 40 came from the Great River Landing Committee. The enhancements they had selected, including some, I believe there were the shade features and some seating. Mm-hmm. Interpretive signage, which would be funded We hope and anticipate through the La Crosse Foundation and see the drinking fountain bottle water fill station for $7,000 also came through the Great River Landing Committee as a way to complete at least phase one, what they anticipated for phase one in that development.
Question, Mayor?
Yes.
So on the ordinance is, so we're paying someone else to do that work, that $100,000 worth of work. Who's doing the work? I'm confused on how that's getting done.
It would be a full comprehensive update. It would
I'm sorry?
be a full comprehensive update. You would contract out for a
Okay.
zoning plan
Okay.
update, yes.
And they would,
Yeah, I
they
guess.
would use an RFP for it.
Yeah, and so in the past, so in the past, haven't we just done that internally?
So the original zoning code that we're using was, I don't even know the year we did that. But
Of course you were.
No, it was probably about, I'm guessing, it was probably about 28, 27 years ago. Jared, what'd you think?
Yeah, Jason Gilman, our former city planner, about 6-7 years ago did a recompilation of the plan and added some more modern items to it and tried to combine things, but it was not by any means or stretch a full rewrite or a compilation of the plan to make sure that right now, for instance, there's certain things that are in the public works part of it, some of it's in the zoning code. Unless you work with the code every day, which we're very fortunate, Katie Aspenson is very knowledgeable in the zoning code, but if you go through it, you wonder why this item is in this spot in the zoning code, because 30 years ago it probably made sense because they didn't have cell phone towers and they didn't have things like that, but there's things over time that it just, and you add something at the end where it should be intermixed with the rest of the code. So that it would just modernize the code, take care of all the times where there's things in 3 different spots. So luckily, if you've done it long enough, you know it's in this spot, and this spot, where it should all be in one spot. So,
and the potentially contradictory language
Correct.
that exists. So you have a plan from 20-some years ago. You make some modifications depending on the changes, but there may be things that aren't aligned that way. So it's a full comprehensive rewrite to bring everything up to standard and be in use.
Well, speaking as the chair of the Plan Commission, I certainly would like to get rid of some of that crossover that we have and make it much more efficient, not only for us to work with, but for developers and everybody else that comes into the city, that if we can smooth that out for them, they're more likely to do business there. Harvey, you had something? No. Okay. Well, I like the idea of tree planting, even given the number of ash trees that we've lost, but
and I can expound on that a little bit. As City Administrator pointed out, item number 38 is really to update our plan. We have the DNR grant we've worked to get. I think that really has to stand. Urban Forestry General is yearly we try and plant trees for people that call and request boulevard trees. So we use that money to do that. We use that money to do miscellaneous tree removals if we have large trees within the city that we have to contract out to get removed. The urban forestry tree planting, the number 37, is a continuation over the last 3 years since we've been doing emerald ash borer tree removal. We've been replanting trees. We've been very fortunate that we've replanted almost all the trees that we have removed. So we were trying to fund some money to look at neighborhoods and plant trees where we have areas where there just aren't a lot of trees and you go through some neighborhoods. So that's about a third of what we were funding with the emerald ash borer program for tree replacement. So there's your...
Right.
I'll make a motion for number 39 to be removed on the basis of, I said at the CDA when this was discussed at the budget process, and I think their thought process remains the same here. just hesitant of changing something that we have no clue of what may come in there. But at the same time, when necessary, when they come forward, we should have adequate time to take action on it.
I second it.
Okay, motion made by Fred, seconded by Ron, to take out item number 39 in the amount of $30,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. How are we doing, Fred?
We're almost at 3 million.
Reduce 3 million.
Yeah, reducing it by 2,991,000. I guess I want to take 40 probably in a couple different pieces. I get real hesitant when I had someone less than a month ago come to my office and said, you know, they really need a station down there, and quite frankly, I'll donate the money to do it. And I can't sit here stating that I didn't hear the person say it, and because I know the person would do that. I just hate to see we go borrow dollars for something that we haven't, and it kind of goes back to the other one. Nobody has really gone out there to find out whether the general public are willing to help us and assist us in something down there. We're just going to go ahead and borrow.
What number are we talking about?
I'm talking about A and C on line 40.
40, okay. So what would you like us to do? Take those out?
I'll participate.
Pardon me?
I'll participate. I'll make a motion to remove $75,000 40A and $7,000 from 40C, and if in fact between now and December, if someone wishes to come forward and making contributions to do the same, then we can have it as other sources.
Okay. We won't put that if in there. You're starting to make Jim Bielecki motions that go on forever. Okay, so Fred has made a motion to strike 40A and 40C in the amount of $82,000.
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Discussion?
Jared, we the $75,000 would include like benches, et cetera. Is that what we were talking about before?
Correct. That's the committee looked at a variety of things: benches, shade structure, viewing, binocular, variety of items.
When they get through talking, I guess I'll make my point.
Just a minute, we're waiting. We have this on the floor, and Harvey wants to just make a point here.
Okay. The park plaza, or I guess the park overall, is for people to enjoy, and park benches is one of the things that we seem to there seems to be part of a park that allows to enjoy it. And I think that enhancements such as that, frosting on the cake, are actually they're essential parts of the park as it is. So I can't imagine why I would want to eliminate something that we've anticipated over the time as making the park, I guess, user-friendly as we hoped it would be. So I would not be in favor of eliminating it.
Okay.
I guess I am open to the fact that we've made a lot of changes here tonight, and we have to gather the information that we talked about those other projects so we can really get a better picture of where we stand between water, sewer, general fund, because as you noticed, we had stated that some of these projects that say water and sewer, some of the general is also sliding over to those. And so I'm sure we have to have more removed, but I get a better picture if we had more factual information in front of you at this point.
So what are you saying? Are you talking to the point we're on?
No, I say we move on to a different number within the agenda.
So you're,
Because we have another month to look at these.
We'll have to
So
act
you are-
on the motion first, though.
pardon me?
We'll have to act on the motion on the table
Yes,
first.
that's what I thought. He's not talking on the motion. Okay. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 The motion of eliminating $82,000. I will ask again.
Opposed?
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Nay? Okay. Abstentions? Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to remove number 3.
Oh, oops,
Number 3.
wrong one here.
There's actually no item on the capital.
It ain't
project.
there.
There's no funding needed. Yeah, there's no request for funding is needed in 2018.
Okay.
The carryover project.
Now, Fred, now we can deal with what,
I'm requesting that the committee take this information we've modified. Let me send you a corrected document, and then we'll have more information about the other.
so stop for the night, is that what you're telling us?
That would be a good idea.
Okay.
Is it dinner time, Fred? Or?
Next month.
Okay, yeah, my copy's getting kind of scribbled up, too.
Make a motion to close for the night without going through the closed session.
We have pay estimates yet.
The answer is yes. We don't have to go into closed session if we don't.
Is this open for discussion, or confused about where we are here?
About burned out on this.
It's a point of order, yep.
Excuse me, I
He
think,
was just making a point of order. Okay, so Fred has made you want that to be in the form of a motion? No? So you don't feel that strongly about it then? Okay, I will make it in the form of a motion that we stop here for the evening and get a good fresh copy to work off from here on out.
I second the motion.
Okay? Motion by Joe, seconded by Ron.
discussion. Are you saying that we adjourn?
No, we
I would
got
like
item
to-
9 yet. We got another item yet.
I'd like to.
We got one more item. No, I'm not saying that we're adjourning.
Okay, you're saying
No.
this
I'm
process.
just saying that we're moving on to the next agenda item.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay, now, I gotta find my original. Okay, item number 9, pay estimates. Jared?
In your packet, there were the original 8 estimates. I have handed out a new Board of Public Works monthly estimate sheet dated October 3rd that shows a revision date of 10/2/2017 that has added on the back page the State of Wisconsin DOT for the Riders Club Road and Broad project. Those just came in the 30th of the month, and I'd like to get those paid too. So I'm requesting that those get all 10 estimates on your sheet that you see in front of you get paid this month.
Okay, Jared, in the form of a
Make
motion?
that in the form of a motion.
Jared made a motion to accept the pay estimates, 10 pay estimates.
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. We are going to not go into closed session today. So we're just going to get rid of that piece. We will,
Adjourn.
Excuse me, is that your wish, to not go into closed session?
oh, that's his wish.
All right.
Do you have some information?
We could if you want to go into closed session.
Okay, then
It's up to the board.
to consider a motion to convene in closed session under section 19.85, parent 1, parent E of the Wisconsin statute for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting of specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons required a closed session. In this case, discussion and negotiation regarding the proposed sewer agreement, sanitary sewer agreement with the city of La Crosse. If any action is required in open session as a result of closed session, the board will reconvene open session to take the necessary action and or continue on with the printed agenda.
Make the motion to go into
Motion by Harvey to go into closed session, seconded by Ron. That takes a roll call vote.
Mayor Chilson,
Aye.
Alderman Jertson,
Here.
Alderman Bertrand.
Aye.
Fred.
Aye.
Jared, aye.
Okay, we stand in closed session.